Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Tower Dive. Today is a day of excitement and sorrow, as we have lost a few souls who were taken from DuoEsports much too soon. I'd like a moment of silence for our fallen teams, MG Midnight and EQ Storm. These teams had the chance to stand among giants, but were unable to withstand the onslaught and impeccable skill that DuoEsports has spent 6 seasons honing. They instead found themselves cold, alone, and in the gutter. If we could all please just take a moment of silence for them, I'd appreciate it.
All we are is dust in the wind.
Alright, now that that's over and out of the way, we can look to the future. I'd like to start by introducing our guest today, Slickdrake, the ADC from Shadow Mustangs Unleashed, Pablo, support player from Solar Phoenix, Shuno, DuoEsports famous Smurf Buster, and also the most hated staff member in the server, Denlee, DuoEsports head coach and residential soap taster, and finally Wocky, support for Rift Dragons, who has spent his whole career in Omari's shadow. So, now that we have the introductions out of the way, let's get to the questions. It's that time of the season where the regular season is drawing to a close, that we start talking about playoffs, right? We're talking about playoffs. What's the playoff picture going to look like? What do you think the divisions will end up in the regular season and go to for the postseason? Should be pretty easy considering we've had a bunch of drops and, you know, a couple teams already eliminated statistically. But what do you think the seeding for each group is? We'll start with you, Joaquin.
I think it's going to stay the way it currently is. The only real thing that could change is Pawn Sacrifice passing us in Dragon Division. That's more going to be up to whether they can beat us this weekend, and if they do beat us, we still win out, and then we have a tiebreaker, so they have to beat us twice. So I'm guessing, just to make it very clear, Rift first, Pawn Sacrifice White second, TDS third, AE fourth for Dragon, and then PSB first, Solar Phoenix second, GGD third, and EQE fourth for Baron Division.
So no last 2-week upsets shenanigans that are going to really change up the landscape?
I'd eat a hat if it happened. I'll be real. I highly doubt that Fight Club or Phoenix Rising could make a resurgence that could pass the current standing for 4th place.
Well, I can't wait to get to mine. Excellent. Let's go with you, Slickdrake.
I agree with Dragon Division. I don't think Pawn Sacrifice is going to pass Rift Dragons, but I do think that Fight Club is going to tiebreaker with EQE, and I think they're going to win.
Excellent.
I believe in them.
Excellent. My man. Okay, so Dragon will stay the same, but Baron just a little bit of a swap there?
Yep, indeed.
All right, easy peasy. Shuno.
I'm going to be the boring one here and stick with Wocky. I don't think it's going to change at all. I think Rift Dragons stay number 1 Dragon, PSB stay number 1 Baron, and nothing else really changes.
So, just like it is now.
Yes, exactly like it is now.
Absolutely. Absolutely boring. Wow, thanks for joining us today. Pablo.
Yeah, I think the division with PSB, Solar, EQE, and GGD is going to stay the same. I don't think anything's going to... I don't think Fight Club has a chance. Personally, I think it's too far of a gap, and even then, it's kind of a little difficult. The division with Rift Dragons, though, I'm very interested to see this next week. I think Team Darkspark might make a bit of a comeback here, assuming that PSW loses their game against Rift Dragons. I think the game between Darkspark and PSW is really going to show who is going to be the better team, considering I don't think anyone's going to take first place, but those two teams kind of are going to play each other in playoffs. I think that game's going to be very indicative. I think Team Darkspark is going to get second place. But third place, PSW, fourth, Aether. I don't think anything's changing down there.
All right, now that is a hot take. I like that a lot. Denlee.
Pablo is right on the nail. I totally agree with him. I am not a Fight Club believer, so I think that they're going to stay down, and Baron Division is going to stay exactly the same, but I'd love to see TDS take on Pawn Sacrifice White and take that second place.
Okay, so we have a couple of the non-believers for the Pawn Sacrifice White fan club. Okay, that's fair. All right, so I'm not even going to waste my time with the top 2 seeds from Dragon or the top 3 from Baron. I think that's super, we know what's going to happen. It's the same. I do not think TDS are going to overtake Pawn Sacrifice White, and I don't think they'll overtake Rift Dragons either. But, so let's break it down a little bit. EQE, currently 8-9. They play MG Midnight, which should be a free win, so 9-9. Then they play Pawn Sacrifice Black, that's probably a loss. So 9-10. Fight Club are currently 6-10. They play Solar Phoenix, Shadow Mustangs, Galaxy Game, and Dragons. Definitely can beat Shadow Mustangs. Definitely
That's
can
not
beat...
very nice.
Hey, prove me wrong,
I agree with
brother.
you. I agree with you. I agree with you.
They can definitely beat Galaxy Game and Dragons. They've looked a little weak. Solar Phoenix, I think, is going to be rough, but plausible. They've got that new ADC, Okina. I heard he's pretty good. All right? I think that definitely helps them put the pieces together. That forces a tiebreaker with EQ Eclipse. Not an easy task, but it is possible. So I'm going to need all the Fight Club fans to give their energy. Personally, I want these guys to make playoffs. I love the FC story. This org has been here for multiple seasons now, showing up every week. They don't FF, they don't leave early, they don't rage quit. This team shows up every week, puts in 110% to improve, and they've been doing it. And I'm doing it right now. I'm calling it hot take, all aboard the hype train, because Fight Club are punching their ticket to playoffs. You heard it here, folks. It's here. It's real. It's going to happen. Give it 2 weeks. You're going to see them, and everyone in this call is going to DMing me saying, I'm sorry, Dota, I didn't believe. All right? Calling it now. Now,
Absolutely.
let's go to the other side of the board. TPR. In a similar boat. They need to beat SRC, Pawn Sacrifice White, and Aether to make playoffs. That ain't happening. Sorry. Sorry to all you TPR fans listening. Maybe next season. However, Aether Esports have the chance to stag the 3rd spot from TDS. Aether plays TPR. I believe they should win. Because TPR plays Pawn Sacrifice White, then Aether. So they're probably going to be dejected. They're going to say, we can't make playoffs. Let's just go out there and give it the old college try. That's a free win for Aether. The big win that they need is TDS. They play TDS, and hopefully TDS lose to Pawn Sacrifice White. I think very likely. Then Aether picks up the scraps. Again, calling it Aether number 3, TDS number 4. TPR are like the Dallas Cowboys. They will be watching from home. So that's my call for the Dragon Baron division. Dragon will be Rift, Pawn Sacrifice White, Aether, TDS, Baron, PSB, Solar, GGD. Last but not least, Fight Club. Those are my thoughts. And yes, 100% behind it. You have the Dota guarantee. So, we're going to go with our second question now. Let's talk about Pawn Sacrifice Black. We talk about them every week. It's on the tip of everyone's tongue. Will they remain undefeated during the regular season? Can they do it? Can the Mad Lads pull off, I believe it's 18-0, right? We have 18 games? Can they pull off the 18-0?
19-0.
Oh, 19. Thank you, Shuno. The 19-0. Can they pull it off? Let's go back to you, Wocky.
Give the very spicy take of the night by saying, yeah, probably. I'd be surprised if any of the teams they still have to play could beat them. And they play basically the next 3 seeds under them. So they play Galaxy Game Dragons, they play Solar Phoenix, and they play Equilibrium Eclipse. I'd be surprised if they drop a game. And if they do, that's really pivotal going to playoffs. Because if you can find where they can bleed, if you can find the holes within the roster and the way they play, that's going to help out and potentially make a bigger chance of a team breaking them down within playoffs. But I think in the regular season, I'd be surprised if they lose a game. I'd be surprised if it's not a complete and utter just mistake where they just hard through. And if a team actually outplayed them and won correctly and at no points felt like they were losing, I'd be very surprised. But I don't think their return is going to end. I think that they're still the favorites coming into the playoffs, and I'm hopeful that someone can beat them, but we will see.
All right, so you're thinking they could do the 19-0. Hot take, quick fire question, Wocky. If you guys played them today with your current roster, who wins?
The way we're prepping it for it is the best of 5s, and so I think they'd win the best of 1. But when it comes to finals, we honestly think we have what it takes to beat them.
Final score?
3-2, because game 5s are fun.
3-2 for Rift, I'm assuming?
Heck yeah.
All right, that's the confidence I like. All right,
Heck
Slickdrake.
yeah, let's go.
Slickdrake, back to you. Let's go with your answer to the question.
All right. Unfortunately, we don't have an opportunity to rematch them, so I don't think they're going to drop any games in the regular season.
Okay.
But I think Rift Dragons will win game 1 of the best of 5, and then get through 3-0 after that. That's my prediction.
Wait, so
think
what was
they're-
that again for playoffs?
I think Rift Dragon is going to win one game, the very first game of the best of 5, and then they're going to lose the next 3. I think they're going to pull something cheesy, go
Oh.
like I don't know, something.
Zillion support.
Yeah, maybe Zillion. I don't know,
Okay.
Zillion support ban Zillion, but just something, and
Oh, okay. I see what you're
and they're
saying.
gonna
You're
get-
talking about if Rift PSB finals happened.
I think it will happen.
Oh, okay. I
That's
like
Yeah,
that.
it's more of a when than if at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're calling 3-1 PSB.
Yep.
Okay, no, I like that a lot. Shuno.
All right, I'm gonna give my hot take for this Tower Dive Radio. I actually think that Pawn Sacrifice Black will lose a game to Solar Phoenix. I think that Solar Phoenix can pull out the upset, pull up their one and only loss of the season. It's still not the most likely chance they do it, but it's still a chance that I'm going to be rooting for.
If you had to give, like a percentage chance, what are you thinking? Are we thinking like
30%.
Wockies, I'll eat a hat, or
30%. I think there's a 30% chance that Solar Phoenix beat Pawn Sacrifice Black, but like I said, 30% chance that I'm going to be rooting for.
hey man, 30% of the time it works every time. Pablo.
Yeah, we're gonna beat them.
That's it. That's it.
Well, it's if they get defeated by us, they can't go undefeated. So yeah, we're gonna beat them. If you want to talk about playoffs, I don't know, but one game, we got it. Easy.
What do you give me like a score line or time? You gonna beat them in less than 30, 20? Is it gonna be a 45-minute slugfest? What are you thinking here?
Oh man, if it goes longer than 30, we'll probably get sauced by the mid lane. But yeah, let's say like 29 minutes.
29 minutes. All right.
Sure.
Awfully specific, but okay.
I like it. Hey, the man knows. All right, the man.
Right
knows
before
the
shit starts to hit the fan, we'll win.
Gotta win before that Dota gap kicks in, right?
Yep.
Exactly. All right, Denlee, your thoughts?
I think it's totally up to PSB whether they make this, undefeated or not in the regular season. I think, they make mistakes, and it's up to the underling teams to take advantage of those. Because I think PSB is the strongest team in the league, but they do make those mistakes, and if these underling teams can take control of those mistakes, they can actually win. I really do believe that.
100% true. Yes, they are not a perfect team by any means, and definitely we've seen weaknesses and a little bit of trolling, soft play if you want to call it, a little overconfidence for sure. So my thoughts on it. So we're talking about the reigning champions and most likely future DuoEsports champions, Pawn Sacrifice Black. That's who we're talking about, right? These boys have absolutely been murdering the competition. The thought on every single person's mind in the entire Gold Plat community, not DuoEsports, entire. If you are Plat 1, 100 LP or less, you are thinking about Pawn Sacrifice Black every night before you go to bed, praying to the Lord Jesus Almighty, toe to gap, that he blesses your lane with some CS. That's a big fact. These lads 100% win the regular season. 19-0, big facts. They go 100% through the postseason. Will they have a perfect season? Maybe a solid, 25-0 season? I think, yeah, absolutely, positively, yes. And to think otherwise, I consider blasphemy myself. Absolutely no way these boys drop a game. It's big fact, all right? Maybe in finals, like Slickdrake said, you get a cheese strat in there, they drop a game. But regular season, it's done. All right? Put it in a tortilla, fold it up, because it's a wrap. All right? Duns.
Nice.
Yes. Thank you. I spent some time on that one. All right. Third question now. What's your biggest surprise of the year? It could be a team throwing a match. It could be a specific player. Maybe they came out the gate, looked not so big, not so hot, then started, turning it on, started looking really good. Or reverse, they came out looking really good and started stinking it up towards the end of the year. What was your biggest surprise of the season? Basically could be anything. Wocky.
I'm not sure you're familiar with the tragedy of Equilibrium Storm, the Wise, but we were familiar with them. They were the only team we knew coming into Duo. We had played with them in a different league. They got second place, we got first. We already had some beef with their AD carry, right? So we thought they were pretty good. But then lo and behold, who would win one team's chances of winning Duo versus a parent grounding their mid laner? Apparently the latter does, because EQE or EQS went from being an actual contender to breaking at every seam and crack. They've gotten the millionaire back, but it's never been recovered. And we were honestly, like, at the start, really excited to play them in PSP. They were the only teams we really cared about, and losing them within Dragons made Dragons a lot easier, for a lack of a better term, and less competitive. So definitely a disappointment and just huge surprise from our perspective, because they were actually good contenders previously when we played against them, and they were a team that we were the most excited to play into. And it just sucks to see how the mighty have fallen so far.
Yeah, no, 100%. They came on the scene, made a huge splash with a good win record, completely flaming everyone, breaking every rule in the rule book. And then the mid laner got grounded. They got a bit quieter. And I think my favorite thing of that whole scenario was the mid laner coming back, saying, "Yeah, it's over for you idiots. I'm back now." They lost the game, and then he immediately left the server. That that to me was probably the biggest 2 thumbs up. You can't write that script. All right, Slickdrake, your thoughts.
As much as I'd like to consider us a surprise, I think the bigger surprise is definitely Fight Club. I wasn't there for EQS's downfall, but Fight Club when we got here was like almost had a lower score than us, and now they are. You know what? I mean, I said that they're gonna make it to playoffs, and I think they will, and I think that that's a big surprise.
That's true. Yeah, most of the people here were in the beginning, so they kind of showed up and saw how EQ Storm were doing. But the time you guys came in the league, they were an old homeless man on the side of the road, so you didn't see their glory days. Shuno.
Hands down, EQ Storm. I'm agreeing with Wocky again on this one. They were from 4-0, as you said. They made a big splash on the scene. They were the top team. They were being talked about, to match Pwn Sacrifice Black in the grand finals. And then they go 4-13, literally the biggest seasonal throw in the whole league. That's fucking insane.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's it's just monumental. That's one of those things that will go down in history. DuoEsports season 42. People are going to still be talking about EQ Storm and how they made the MLB Hall of Fame with that season throw. Pablo.
Yeah, so I came in midway through the season after they already like flopped the fish. So it's not that like crazy to me. I'm not too versed in the history of DuoEsports, though I do know it's very rich with drama and history and stuff. But I would have to say right now, the thing that was most surprising to me was Okina leaving Rift Dragons. I don't know what the circumstances behind it were, and I don't really want to dive into that. But him joining Fight Club was kind of like, whoa, to me. I was like, wow, because I thought he was a really solid player. But I have to say, the current changes Team Darkspark is probably the most surprising thing to me, because wow, they improved their play so much from just changing 2 lanes. I think they are the scariest thing right now. That's like new, because we still got to figure them out. That'd be the most surprising to me.
Yeah, who would have thought Boy Toy was the problem? Not I, sir. Not I.
I have a double
go ahead.
quick interjection about that. So I still think TDS isn't that great of a team, and I think MSF5 specifically, they'll get exploited really hard. They have a really weak bot lane, and yeah, they got upgrades to their solo lanes, and their jungler has been a lot better, but they play Lucian every game and do nothing with it. They play Enchanters every game and do nothing with it. And they're the most antithetical like team that just, if they can get ahead and their players can like be self-sufficient, they win games, but in any extended series, they'll lose. I don't know who they're playing round 1 for playoffs, but I'd be very surprised to do it. And then on the Okina thing, the way I see it, my biggest concern with the Dragons themselves was being able to beat Pawn Sacrifice Black. And the way you can really outmatch Pawn Sacrifice Black isn't through the mid lane, and with their upgrade in top lane, it's not through top lane anymore. If we can stomp through bot, make Shrimp and Omari have a bad time, that's our best chance to win. I saw Okina leaving almost like a blessing in disguise, where he ended up going to an org that's better for him. He is in a better projection towards how he wants to play and how he wants to have fun with the game. And we are in a more competitive state to be able to win the league. It was great timing because we had enough time to build up our synergy with Toast. Shout out to Toast. Wish he could be here. Had to go see his grandma. But it makes me very, very confident that we can beat PSP. the way we've been playing in scrims, the way we've been playing on stage with Toast/Dreamer, it's night and day to how we were playing with Okina. And it's not just within the role and the player changing, the amount of experience and the way Toast talks about the game is insane. So that change happened not because of playstyle, not because Okina's bad, nothing like that, but ended up being the best thing for both parties. And I'm excited, looking forward to the future.
I like it. Toast Gap, is that the new meme? We'll find
Toast
out.
Gap.
We'll find out next week. My biggest surprise this season, yeah, I kind of have to tag on to Wocky's there. The Okina swap, I think to me was the biggest thing was it was a top team. If Rift Dragons were like 5th place and then a player leaves or multiple players, it's kind of like whatever. Or maybe you see them arguing a lot, having disagreements, then yeah, again, you kind of see it coming. But Rift Dragons seemed like they were a very one cohesive unit. You know, they kind of put on the same front. Everyone seemed like they were on the same page. And they were winning. I mean, that's the most part. That's why most teams break up is because you're losing. When you're winning, most people are like, yeah, you know, we'll figure it out. I'll deal with it type deal. But they were winning. So that was a big surprise. And then him going to Fight Club was another huge surprise where it's like he just traded the #1 team for, I think they were like 6th or 7th at the time. Like 7th, I believe, at the time. So it's like, definitely weird, definitely different. Then I have to say my second big surprise was probably MG Midnight getting smacked around in this league and then leaving to go to a Diamond League. That one was also a big kind of surprise. But yeah, definitely 2 big surprises of the year. All right, let's get into our final question. I'll stop being spicy. Match of the week. Upcoming weekend, we have Friday, Saturday, DuoEsports, Twitch TV/DuoEsports. Come check us out. 7 p.m. start time, both Friday and Saturday. So, what are you guys thinking is the match of the week, Wocky?
Either the Pawn Sacrifice White game versus us, which is not on stream, but we'll make sure that people can actually get access to it, because that basically can decide whether we will have tiebreakers or not for Dragon Division. Realistically, between us getting first, second seed doesn't really matter too much, especially since we're trying out new things. And realistically, I'd be surprised if we don't see Pawn Sacrifice White in the finals for Dragon Division. But that's at least going to help with seeding and figuring out who is better at the moment. And then any of the EQ games, I am excited to watch. They've changed so much and improved so drastically over the past couple of weeks. I know last week wasn't the best, but watching Cuttlebun has been an actual joy. Watching Cuttlebun destroy Jodway, put Solar Phoenix with the Urgot Gratata all the way down to the dirt was so fun to watch.
We don't want to talk about that.
And when a team plays through bot side and they're able to get shut down by a single Cuttlebun, I'm always hyped for it. So I want to keep seeing them play. I want them to secure their playoff spot, and I'm excited to see how they can improve and continue to drastically get better. Because I think they're probably in my opinion, the biggest contenders towards PSB within playoffs themselves. I don't think they beat them this week, but I think they could in 2-3 weeks. They are on that grind. They scrim so much.
I'd agree with you, but they lost to Fight Club the week after. So
They were testing things.
Yeah, they were testing things.
Yeah,
Let
no,
me
It's
tell
still
you.
testing.
100% agree with Wocky.
course.
I love Cuddlebuns. I mean, I watch a lot of duo streams. Obviously, I'm usually just in chat, dicking around, watching things, starting the good old copy pasta, seeing what you guys cook up every week. But I love watching Cuddlebuns. That man has played so many champions top lane and won top lane basically every time. The man is unstoppable beast. I love his name. His champ pool is wild. He plays wild. He's always looking for a big play. He's not one of those top laners who's like just kind of chilling under tower like, hey, can I get a gank? Maybe then I'll get a lead and kind of slowly push. No, he's like 2v1 jungler ganking me. I'm just going to fight him. I don't care. I'm not running away. I'll just fight him. Worst case, I die. And then I'll just come back to lane 1v1 this guy later. Like, he is what I think a top laner should be. So take notes, all you boring top laners sitting there farming under your tower on Maokai. All right? You're boring. Stop doing it. Be exciting. Be like Cuddlebuns. All right, that's my 2 cents. Slickdrake.
All right, I'm gonna go with Fight Club versus Solar Phoenix, because I believe that Fight Club will take the dub. I think they're gonna upset them.
Ooh, okay. So yeah, that'll definitely be a big match to watch. To just see if Solar Phoenix can withstand Fight Club, and then the playoff implications from it. I love it. Shuno.
As I hinted at earlier, I think I'm gonna have to give it to Pawn Sacrifice Black versus Solar Phoenix. I think Solar Phoenix can not only whip out the upset, but fortunately, unlike the first time, and almost it was a threat of a second time, but it's actually going to be on stream this time, so that'll be very, very exciting to watch. Hands down, my match of the week.
Yeah, I like that. I like that choice a lot. Pablo.
Yeah, I do think our match is going to be interesting, but from what I've been talking about, I definitely want to see the Dark Spark and Pawn Sacrifice White matchup. I definitely think that is going to, assuming that they lose to Rift, which is my prediction. I definitely think that's going to be the game to decide not only what second place is going to be, but how that playoffs is going to go out. I think that's like the only one's going to have like a seed change, and the other one's going to like matter in the first round of playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like most teams are wanting to avoid Rift Dragons in that first round. So if you can try to get that second or third spot and avoid the fourth, I think a lot of teams are going to be doing that. But yeah, Denlee.
I was gonna say PSB versus Soul, but I gotta agree with him. Pawn Sacrifice White versus TDS is gonna be really exciting, and if that seat change actually happens, it could affect everything in playoffs. So I'm really excited to see that.
Yeah, 100%. I am going to go with TDS versus Aether. So I guess everyone's going to be watching the TDS matches this weekend. So TDS versus Aether, I think this is super huge. Aether want to win so they can get that third spot. Like I said, dodge Rift. Because I feel Pawn Sacrifice White definitely could take the spot from Rift. I don't think it's very likely, though. Yeah, it's possible, but I'm just not feeling it. But Aether definitely has the chance to take it. And if they can take that from them, they would play Pawn Sacrifice White, which I think would be a much better matchup for them. Again, I think Pawn Sacrifice White is the better team of the two. But I think they have a lot better chance of beating Pawn Sacrifice White than they do of beating Rift Dragons. So for them, you want to take the easiest matchup you can get, win that, and then hopefully scrim, practice a bunch, train up, and then maybe take on Rift the next week. But again, that's the future. They got to look for the here and now, try to win those games. So yeah, I think that's all we have for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the tower dive. I definitely enjoyed having all you guys here on the desk with me today. So again, check us out Saturday, 7 p.m. EST. We start the stream, Twitch TV/DuoEsports. You're probably on our YouTube channel watching this right now. Go ahead, follow us, like, subscribe, whatever have you, so you guys can get more content from us. And we will see you guys next week. And then 2 weeks from now, I believe we'll be in playoffs. So we'll be having the forehead analyst desk, and it'll be super good times. Again, thank you guys for coming, and we'll see you guys next week.